Welcome, my friends. This is Maniacal Incorporated. What a period of chaos and instability we are witnessing in the world. I just zoomed out to take a look at the world map. Where do we start? Maybe in Scandinavia. All of the Norse powers have been crippled. Finland has also split apart from what I remember. Estonia has vanished. If we move down, Poland has expanded a bit, as has Bohemia. It might be difficult to see, but they have actually taken substantial lands just everywhere. The Balkans has started to be the Balkans, has split apart massively. The Byzantine Empire has disintegrated. You now have Hellas, you have Thessalonica, and Byzantium itself. So there's chaos going on in this region. Italy and Romagna have unified again. Spain is just all over the place. I know there is a crusade going on, I think, for this region. And amidst it all, a rare instance of stability is the Kingdom of Ireland. In the last episode, towards the end of the last episode, I think one of the very last things I did was usurped the crown of England, which has created a bit of a constitutional crisis, but what's the Kingdom of Ireland without a constitutional crisis at this point in time? I had noticed that as soon as Cuilén came to power, that he was in a position to usurp the Kingdom of England, but the kingdom wasn't at peace. So England had to be at peace for us to actually usurp the title. We did that at the end of the last episode, hoping that we could force the powers that would end up splitting off, that we could force them into to accept vassalization. We're going to manage to get Essex. Essex will accept vassalization. There are 3 remaining duchies. I have started a sway scheme against one of them. I don't think it's going to be likely that they'll accept. And then we have 2 more. And it's going to be either that they will come to understand the overwhelming power of the High King of Ireland, and that they will accept vassalization, or they will be conquered. We are coming quite close to achieving the multi-generational goal set out by... Originally, I had said Flann Sinna, but as time goes on, I'm beginning to think that it was actually Cuilén, because our expansion, our drive into England, is pretty much because of the lands that he conquered down here, Dehybert and Mercia. So our attempts, and of course Essex is also under the control of one of his descendants, so our attempts to bring all of the Irish rulers of England, within the Kingdom of England, under Irish control, has seen us rip that kingdom apart. And Cuilén, of course, gave up the High Kingship and supported his son, Moltoli. It rent the entire kingdom apart, but in the process of putting it back together, we have become stronger than we have ever been before. At the start of this playthrough, I did not intend pushing for an empire. I did not intend pushing into England. I was thinking Ireland, Scotland, maybe Wales, Cornwall, Brittany. So I was thinking of the borders of what's known as the Celtic Union or the Celtic League. But yeah, we've now ended up in a position where we could possibly form an empire if Cuilén can stay alive long enough. And the reason we need to keep Cuilén alive is because there is an election for who will succeed him as King of England, and it will be somebody separate to who will succeed as King of Ireland and King of Scotland. So we could see on Cuilén's death that the English entity that we have managed to solidify could actually split off from the kingdom. At the moment, we don't know who's winning the election. This dude has a number of votes to his name. I don't see anybody from former House Accra, but there is one of our own sons is actually being supported. He's 11. I find that unusual. But he's being supported by... I think this is the son of... Ruacon's brother in Deirach. We were supporting him briefly at the start. It is indeed, because we made him the Duke of York, and he's actually sieging down a Norse territory in Scotland, so hopefully he will bring that under his control. And who else is supporting our son? Another of the Irish rulers, Don, who was very briefly considered, I think he was very briefly considered for the High Kingship at one stage. I know his name popped up a couple of times. He's a son of Cuilén, Ruacon's predecessor, for 15 months, so the two of them seem to be supporting my son, and if we can do so, there he is, we are going to support him as well. So hopefully that will make him the favourite leader, but we could see all that change in a couple of seconds, and a couple of the people will come around. Here's another member of the family, Loinchuk in Mercia, so we should be able to bring him around to supporting our son. He's not supporting him because he's unlanded, and he's evil. Okay, we might be able to bring him around to our way of thinking. And of course, Cahmal, because he's the Duke of Man, but he also has, oh god, where did we give him? Lancaster. I'm actually surprised at how many Irish people that we have in this kingdom. I didn't think that we had all this many. And again, he's only a child, and he is unlanded, and he is evil. Nyakton or Nyatfriak. Why are you evil? He's wrathful and rowdy. Leave him alone, he's grand. And if our son will one day rule as King of England, then we should probably try and get him a solid alliance. Here is a princess of East Francia, a daughter of King Popo II. How many troops does your father have? Dear God. Dear God. And then his sister Concaen will marry her off into the Carling Grandmont family as the Duke of Bourbon. This guy isn't in line, well, he is in line for Bourbon, but he's not going to inherit it next, but it will bring another 2,300 soldiers into our alliance. Who can complain about that? In the last few episodes, we've seen two families create cadet branches. Here is Liachnon II. He is a grandson of Liachnon, a great-grandson of Geralt, which would be a great-great-grandson of Flann Sinna I. Now, of course, this entire line has been pretty much excluded from the High Kingship. Geralt's son, Flann Sinna, managed to effectively assassinate his way into power, but Liachnon's branch, which we would have technically favoured for the High Kingship, has been by and large excluded. And what they've done is they've created a cadet branch for themselves, House Flancaed, and it looks like they're claiming descent from Flann Sinna, the original Flann Sinna. They're going back and they're kind of highlighting the fact, yes, we're Uí Néill, but we're descendants of Flann Sinna I, the guy who created the Kingdom of Ireland itself, the original, the OG Flann Sinna in the OG Kingdom of Ireland. And of course, as we're seeing Irish power stretch into this region, they're kind of reminding you of their Irish links. If I am correct, yeah, the guys in Essex have gone in the exact opposite direction. They're very much highlighting the fact that they are of the Céad Cathach branch, but the English branch, Céad Cathach Ipswich. So they're kind of highlighting the fact that they are the predominant, or they're laying claim to being the predominant Céad Cathach branch in England. If I am correct, they are descendants of Cuilén through his son Grianghrafadóir. So they're kind of actually in our family. When I say our family, I'm talking about Cuilén. So lots of people are trying to claim legitimacy. They're trying to establish themselves in various different parts of the kingdom. We need prestige. In the last episode, we wrote a play to kind of, or not a play, but a great epic to build on the fact that we assisted Ruacón We are his chosen successor. What I'm going to do is we are actually going to follow suit. The same as everybody else, and we're in a position to create a cadet branch of the family. It's going to give us 350 prestige, which we need. And we are now members of House Céad Dublin. You may have noted a hint of sadness in my voice there as that pop-up appeared, because I thought we wouldn't be able to, or I thought we'd be able to choose a name for our family. I don't want to be the Céad Dublin. We, of course, are claiming descent, not from the OG Flann Sinna, but from our ancestor, the great Grianghrafadóir, the first High King to possess and conquer land off the island of Ireland. So this is the Irish High King who set in motion the plans for the actual eventual conquest of Ireland. So in the same way that the Flann Céad are now very much laying claim to Ireland and to being the kind of the Irish branch of the family, Ipswich, or the Céad Ipswich, are centering themselves as the English branch. We're going to make reference to an Irish High King, an expansionist, an all-encompassing Irish High King, one who will give us legitimacy to claim the rule of all of the British and Irish Isles. In the same way that the descendants of Con Céad Cathaoch would have called themselves the Connachtha, in the same way that the descendants of Owen Moore, the mythological founder of the families that ruled Munster, would have called themselves the Onachtha, we, in looking back to Grianghrafadóir, will call ourselves the Grianghrafadóireachta. And there is a great Irish saying, which unfortunately, it won't fit. It won't fit. I'm disappointed. That is, don't count your sour grapes before they hatch. Apparently, that's too long of a motto. I'm disappointed. This game is literally unplayable. 1 out of 10 at most. So, sadly, we can't use that as our motto. I'm going to have to change it to something else. I actually put some thought into the family name. I put no thought into the motto, so I didn't have one prepared. And as we were, for a brief period of time, House Céad Dublin, a very famous saying, an ancient Irish saying in Dublin. Here, leave it out. That'll do for now. And if this game is still, if I'm actually still playing this game when you come upon this episode, maybe actually put in the chat your own suggestions for some mottos that you'd like to see. I might change it at a later point in time, but for now, we are going to rename the family to the Grianghrafadóireachta. There you go, look at this. Wouldn't Grianghrafadóir be proud of us? He witnessed his son take, or not take, but he was elected to the Scottish throne, and then he was deposed and murdered. And now, Grianghrafadóir's descendants hold not alone the Irish crown, not alone the Scottish crown, but also the English crown. And we have re-established our rule over this area and created a cadet branch of the family, which looks back to Grianghrafadóir as one of the great, and pretty much kind of a mythological figure at this stage, from about 150, almost 200 years ago. The rather handy thing about creating a cadet branch of the family is, of course, it makes us the head of the family, so we can now appeal to ourselves to divorce one of our wives. This is a wife that we had married before we actually took control of Cuilén. She has some good stats, but let's see if we can maybe find somebody that might be able to provide us with an alliance later on. And finally, before we unpause the game and start, I think this has been one of the longest intros I've done in a while. I didn't mean for it to be this long. Look at this. Kingdom of Ireland, and just across the way, the Kingdom of Norway. Its capital is based in the northern stretches of Wales. I was planning an attack on Sweden. I don't have the prestige that I need to do that right now. And instead of waiting for that, because we don't have a lot of time to be waiting, the High King is 61. I know we've just had a ruler who lived to be 77, but that's a very rare occurrence so far, and we can't bank on that again, and we need to move quickly. Instead of waiting to get the prestige to attack Sweden, we are going to begin our process of threatening the other rulers that they had better accept vassalization or they will be conquered. We are going to try and conquer... I've forgotten where we're trying to conquer. Kent. And that will also bring us, if I am correct, Canterbury. We can't see it right now, but I think it controls Canterbury. Do you know what? We'll see it in a second when I press this button. And we should see if they have... There we go. Canterbury. The final holy site of insular Christianity. And when I say the final holy site, I'm ignoring Hellas and whatever is over in Jerusalem. All the pop-ups are going to start now. We've got an achievement, a house of my own, to the charming High King Cuilén of Ireland. So there's been a marriage proposal acceptance for one of our children, for two of our children, I think. Oh no, I married Bran off to somebody. I did this at the end of the last, or before I finished the last episode. I've married him off to somebody. I'm sure there was a reason for this. It was the robust trait. That was the reason. We have an alliance with the King of East Francia. A vassal of ours has been taken prisoner. And there we go. Essex has accepted vassalization. Excellent. And we have, now that we've vassalized Essex, we've become the head of the dynasty. I think our army is at full capacity. Let's see who we can transfer control to. Do you know what Gudbrand seems to be the best? Can't see a reason for him not to command, and we will see if... We'll split it and we'll send it after these guys. I've split the armies. I'm sending one of them down to siege Surrey. I'm going to send the other one after that army. That also seems to be heading towards Surrey, so I think they're all going down there. They've just risen a good chunk of forces, so I think we're going to need to bring in our allies. Liachnon is asking to be given the reins over some military projects in Breffni. I was actually thinking of putting him in charge of the army for a period of time. Vassals shouldn't take liberties, or we'll spend some prestige and we get encouraged improvements. Absolutely. So they're going joining up. The two forces up here are going to join up and continue sieging Essex. I've called in my wife with her 700 troops. Maybe that wasn't a great idea. And we've also called in King Popo II with about 9,000 troops. Once I have departed this world, my vassal Earl Urquaid shall rule in my stead. So this is Ruacon's son. He is a siege engineer. He is either quick or a genius or something. He's intelligent. He's also a drunkard, apparently. And maybe word of that has come back to the High King. He also has unending grudges. Rumours of his unending grudges. So he is vengeful. That is, of course, a sin. We can either focus on ourselves. +5 general opinion. Talk up his good qualities. Or attempt to rectify his flaws. I think we'll go with that one. It might make things worse. He has agreed to let me mentor him, even though his enthusiasm is somewhat lacking. I fear his vices are deeply set, but a truly eye-opening experience might make him realize the folly of his ways. What shall we do? The two options that seem most applicable are venture into the streets and talk to the poor for somebody who needs to work on their compassion, or a lesson appropriate to someone who needs to work on letting things go. Forgive someone who has done him wrong, and I think we'll go with that one. We're being told that an acquaintance has been taken prisoner, and if I'm correct, this is actually somebody who is in line for the Kingdom of England. A distant member of the family, who is married to a distant member of the family, is flirting with the High King. She wants me, and I cannot lie, I want her too. We have a couple of different options. Go and find her when everyone is asleep. Everyone will know her sinful thoughts. We will gain stress because we are compassionate. No, my heart remains pure. Gain some piety. And she loses opinion of us. I think I see the High King going in this direction. It should be noted that he hasn't had any children since coming to power. So I think he's possibly veering in the celibate direction. I've pulled out onto the world map to see where exactly all of my allies are. And we are told that our attempts to tutor Urquhart have failed. We are certain it's because of his level of enthusiasm rather than the lesson. So we're going to give him one more chance. Should we try a new tactic, or will persistence win out the day? I think persistence will win out the day. Because we're trying to get him to stop being vengeful. So obviously we need to get him to forgive someone who has done him wrong. So we'll try that again. We can see... Oh, they are coming across. Right, I thought they had just stopped. It's going to take them a while to get across to us. Here's the much... That's great. That's great. And yeah, we're going to see Essex sieged. We're not going to have Surrey completed. We'll probably have to try and combine our forces and probably hold off against Essex if they come down towards us. I am delighted to see the changes in Earl Urquhart. I could see how hard it was for him to face the woman who had done him wrong, the words getting trapped in his mouth as he tried to speak. Luckily, the woman responded graciously, and by following her example, Urquhart forgave her in a truly heartfelt way. He has not seemed quite so vindictive since then. Aww, a great achievement for both of us. He loses vengeful, and he will either become fickle, humble, or trusting. This is but the first step. We must work harder. We will gain some stress, and he will gain forgiving. He will definitely gain forgiving. Intrigue goes down, but it is a virtue amongst insular Christianity, and this was an educational exercise, nothing more. We gain diplomacy lifestyle, but he stays bold. That's a pity. If we could get rid of impatient as well. I think we will try harder. And now look at him, a brand new man. A brand new man. In the midst of it all, what better a time than now to hold a feast, get rid of that stress that we just built up. We have lost that siege, and the armies are coming down towards us. The guests are gathered in the Great Hall. I don't know, are the spirits too high? As Kent's army marches on our forces. Welcome, friends. What are we going to do in this scenario? We're going to lose 100 men marching into the battle. And just as it was about to start, a conversation partner. Now, this is actually the guy in East Anglia that we're trying to sway. So let's see, we do definitely have to make sure that we keep him happy. His opinion of us goes up 20. We, absolutely, yes, so we grow closer to forming a friendship with him. Perfect. And the battle has been joined. And it's our wife who's in command. The numbers aren't great. The numbers are not great, and we do see the West Frankish forces, or the East Frankish forces, coming in maybe a bit too late. They're just off there to the corner. Our poor chieftain Sorkver, who holds about 5 counties. What are we gonna do? We'll get stressed if we don't save him, so we'll save him. And our wife, commanding the battle, has been encased in metal. Can we hold off long enough for the forces to come ashore and prevent this from being a defeat? Well, it's going to be a defeat one way or another. Our guest depart. So here's the High King, just lounging around with his primary wife, having a good old time, having some beer, having some chicken. Maybe dessert afterwards. His wife has been encased in metal in her husband's defense. Great. I'm glad everyone had a great time. Talk to you all again soon. Bye, guys. Oh, we're a famous reveler now. One of our champions has been killed. Another of our champions has been killed. I had a great party. Those little, oh man, those cocktail sausages, they are just fantastic. They are to die for. What a battle. What a battle. Fair play to our poor wife, who managed to hold off that army until King Popo could get in time. There's an advert for season 2 of The Boys. Girls do it better. Oh man, that was absolutely massive. The numbers were, that was one of the largest battles we've been involved in for a period in time. Our wife managed, with her 700 forces, she managed to hold Kent at bay until King Popo could come in, and with overwhelming numbers, turn defeat into victory. Ulfus up there with 46, Cochmaw with 40, Gudbrand is falling down to 29. Homon, the poor guy, I don't think we've had him all that long. I don't think we've had him all. I know, we must have had him a while. He has 3 children, one who died from being sickly. Eriker is brand new. I think this is one of his first engagements. Moltoli of Ulster, Mock Lued. There's Giles. Here's our son, who I think we were considering supporting for the High Kingship at one stage. A lot of people were supporting him. So the first time that the Grianghrafadóir, the banner, has been held aloft in battle. And then we're pretty much looking, I think, at these guys then down here would be the guys who came in late, towards the end, the guys who saved us. So here's our knights who held that battle, and look at this for numbers, 116. Gavron, so yeah, Gavron Mock Liachnon. I'm wondering, is that no? It's a different Liachnon. Also, it's of the Grianghrafadóir branch of the family of descendants of Cuilén. So it's a mini civil war here in a way. There you go. What a battle! Now we're in a bit of a scenario. We've sent one of our armies back to try and siege Surrey. We're sieging Sussex. The army of Ulm. The army of Ulm are standing beside us. They're not really doing anything, and as you can see, 3,800 troops are now falling on Warwickshire, I think. Alright. So it's going to be a slow process if we're going to have to siege all these areas down ourselves, which is what it looks like. I'm going to make sure that we have a siege-ready commander in place here. We do indeed. Don of Bedford, who recently accepted vassalization. Speaking of Don, what's he been doing? He's been bold. My vassal has accused my vassal, Don, of having an affair with his lover, Deirdre. I do not see what the fuss is about. It is not as if lust is an unnatural affliction. Too true, too true. The crime cannot go unpunished. Well, no, we need him for... Oh, it's Deirdre. Yeah, of course, it's Deirdre that gets punished. Don's fine. The accusations are naught but malice and lies. We go down a level of devotion, but sure, how bad? I was actually thinking about possibly trying to get him up to the highest level of devotion. I don't know, am I that pushed anymore? I won't say am I that pushed. Getting the bloody empire, that's what I'm pushed about. And this is actually a major problem. If we have to spend a lengthy period of time sieging down all this land, are we going to be able to carry off this war before he dies? Because the other problem is that... East Anglia isn't for coming under vassalization. East Anglia will not accept vassalization, so we're going to have to war them. We're probably going to have to war the remaining duchy. I thought that this would facilitate the declaration of an empire, but it maybe has made things worse. And in the midst of it all, our primary wife has died. Died of heart failure at 69. At least the memories remain. So I've proposed to this individual, Fina. She has accepted. She's chaste. Don't really care. I was marrying her predominantly for her stewardship, because we actually have quite low stewardship at the moment. And I've actually had to replace Finchnachta, who was down to 8. He's infirm with Dúnadach II. And that could cause some problems because he was not happy. He was not happy with that. I think he's down to a minus 95 now, and he controls substantial chunks of land in northern Scotland. The siege down here has been lifted. What's happening now? Everybody has started moving. I think we're going to have to go up and hit Warwickshire. I don't know what to do with the second army. Leave them there or try and bring them across. Another friend of ours has died. Died from his wounds in the last battle, more than likely. I think he was severely injured. I didn't even know you were a friend, but yeah, you won't be forgotten. We've gained 3 stress. He wasn't a great friend. Oh, that's problematic. I saw forces disappearing. There's the Liberty War. What a time for it to be declared. A Liberty War has broken out in East Francia. And already their soldiers have turned around and started heading back to deal with that. Oh, we're going to have to find more allies. I think they're heading back for us. I'd made a big heap of changes. I'd switched the armies that were actually involved here in this battle. They are indeed. I'd switched around the armies, so the one with the onagers is now actually in Surrey, sieging the area down. I was moving this army under Gudbrand up in this direction to siege back Essex. Now their main force is coming in, so what we're going to do is I've also actually swapped Don. Don was commanding this army with his military engineer ability. I put Giles in instead, and we have called Bourbon into the war, so hopefully they will send some forces across. The 2 armies have gone in. I don't know if we got in there early enough. I can't see a victory here. I can't see a victory here. Oh, this is very bad. This is very, very bad. In the midst of all this, Sorkver has actually started with his 5 counties. He has started an independence faction as well. Okay. I think we've bitten off a bit more than we can chew. We've had a diplomacy lifestyle perk for a few minutes. No great surprise what we're going to do. We're going to go for thoughtful. We're going to try and work down towards defensive negotiations anyway. Can propose an alliance without marriage, and then embassies maybe. He's already on 30 diplomacy, not too shabby. Not great at all there in that battle. We lost 3 times as many troops as we killed. We did manage to kill their top knight. However, one of our top knights, Eriker, has been taken prisoner. Cachmol has been wounded. Is he badly wounded? He's fine. He's fine. He has declared a new house as well. Cead Cahach Holmwich. So everyone's getting cadet branches. And I think actually we had 2 knights captured. We killed 2. Lost 1. He's not one of ours directly. But 2 of our knights, of the Knights of the Kingdom of Ireland, have been taken prisoner. So not a great battle. Not a great battle at all. Oh Lord. Is this it? The battle, or I should say the war, that will break the kingdom. We have a threat of another civil war. The faction to install Shiama is now up to, I don't know what the hell it's up to, but it can send an ultimatum in, what are we looking at? Almost 3 years? I've called Metz in. We've just arranged a marriage. I've no idea who I've just married, but I think it is one of these 2 children. Waldrada. I think we were married into the Ardenici family before. So we're betrothed. 63-year-old High King is betrothed to that child. And we've called them, and there are 1,000 troops in. We've called pretty much everything in at this point in time. I did check to see if they would accept a white peace. They will not. Our wife's army has been cornered again. One of our champions has died. What is our reinforcement rate like? Not great. 46 per month. And they're probably going to go and siege back down Sussex. I'm wondering as to what to do to keep the guys here and keep them, try and get them to recruit some losses, or send them into Warwickshire. We're seeing Bourbon is finally coming in. I don't want to say finally. That makes it sound like, where have you been all along? So we pretty much now have 3 years to bring this war to an end, or we will see the kingdom destroyed. We see 1,000 troops coming in from Metz. We're going to try and siege down Warwickshire. Or should we try and bring... We'll try and siege back down Warwickshire at least. And then we'll send our army south to to try and hit that army. I think we're just going to have to chase them down and destroy them. Because as long as they stay on the field, they are a threat to us. Our daughter Cuilén has come of age, and we are paying tribute to her stepmother's contributions towards her education. What is she? She is an intricate web weaver. Some good stats in there. 14 intrigue, and she is being married off to the son of the Duke of Bourbon, and of course he is contributing. Pretty much the bulk of the army that we actually have here at the moment is from him. Metz has landed, so once we take Warwickshire, there's another branch of the family. The Uí Néill Moor. That's another chieftain, Liachnaun. So there's cadet branches like crazy. It would be great now if Kent marched up to meet us. Who knows what they're doing, though? They're in the dark. They are marching up to meet us. They will probably head for Warwickshire. So possibly we can get that siege done, can we? It's not looking like it. We're going to have to lift the siege of Gloucestershire and send in those armies slowly but surely, slowly but surely. People are getting into the battle. Lots of our troops are dying before anyone gets in there. How do they have such a big army? Oh, we are in a lot of trouble. They're bringing in 4 forces, and that could very well turn the battle. I have no idea how we won that. Or what actually happened there. They pulled an unmerciful number of troops from somewhere. The siege begins again, unfortunately. I have to pause and take a look at that. That was absolutely insane. Ulfis with almost 200 kills. Cachmal with 130. Gavron was their 3rd best knight there a while back. And now he's moved up to 2nd since we killed their best knight. Now Gavron has been killed. I think we took out a couple of their knights, so that's going to do substantial damage to them. Because, of course, we're bringing in a huge amount of knights due to just the amount of alliance partners that we have. But I have no idea where they suddenly seem to pull almost 1,000 troops from all of a sudden. How they got up to 5,800. Or my maths am bad. I can't maths well. Maybe that's what the issue was. But I was not expecting that they were going to come in with an army of that size against us. Our light footmen on both sides are doing quite poorly. So that's something that we might want to consider for our later wars. If there will be any later wars. There's that big red hand, that big red fiery hand at the top. Let's see what that's telling us. Just reminding us that we have 31 months to get this scenario dealt with. Let's see, does it tell us who's involved? It doesn't. Well, it does if I go this way. So we have Moltoli, Macluaid of Ulster, and Loinchuk. So I think Loinchuk is the main unhappy person. We'll see if there's something that we can do. At the moment, I am trying to... I've abandoned our sway scheme on East Anglia, because they're at war, so even if they could accept vassalization, they wouldn't be able to. I've switched it now to Don in Bedford to see if we can get him to support our person for the High Kingship. Or not for the High Kingship, but for the Kingship of England, which I think we're going to have to accept. We're probably going to lose this area. And yeah, once we get him on side, I'm probably going to try and befriend one of those 2 guys that are going to threaten us. Our wife has become pregnant. The wife that we just married recently. I have moved one of the armies out of the zone just to try and get them to recoup. The Kent have gone sieging down Middlesex. Another friend of ours has died. Loinchuk. I'm trying to figure out who this was. He's a son of Ruacon. So he was actually the Duke of Mercia. So he has passed away. That's unexpected. 32. What did he die from? Bled to death. Well, he does have the bleeder trait. I'm wondering if he was injured in battle. I don't think... I hope not, because if we have people of that level of prowess fighting, then we're in trouble. But the world is harsh and sudden. So without being told of it, we actually managed to lift the Siege of Warwickshire. Look at our forces. They are absolutely depleted. We will put a new commander in place. We'll put Giles. And we're going to pretty much have to send them down against this army in Middlesex. Hope our allies will follow, because if not, then we're in a lot of trouble. And then siege Essex, and probably, yeah, have to go in and start actually sieging down that region. Are we going to hit them in time? Are we going to hit them in time? It does not look like it. Well, if we can... Nope, we didn't manage to hit any of them. This is going to be annoying. Oh, lords, this is going to be annoying.
1 hour later.
We caught an army of 3 men. We defeated them. They've made it up to Northampton for some strange reason. I'm not too sure what they were determined to get up there for. Our allies came in late. Oh my god. How many people are dying? Ruacon didn't even have this many people die on him. And he was like 100 years old or something. His lover has passed away. Will the ache ever fade? We get 3 stress. Our lover has died. Okay. We have 2 armies here, if I am correct. I think we'll just march them in the direction of Essex. And we'll send 1 south and start sieging down Kent. And somebody's taken an opportunity to raid us. Duke Dag! Duke Dag! Oh, Duke Dag. And our wife has given us a daughter. The first member of our family to be born into the Grianghrafadóir the branch. Caelach. May you grow to be strong and wise, my daughter. Not too sure what they're doing. Oh, they've gone back from Middlesex. That's kind of handy. Or have they? Because if we can siege down... They left Northampton. If you go back to Northampton... I don't know what I'm going to say to you. Another cadet branch has been created. Right, that siege has been lifted. Let's briefly look at our 2 battles. We lost 1 person, they lost 2. There you go. What a battle. What a battle. That was amazing. And then that last one there. We capture their top knight. Or their top in terms of kills. Ulfus, Cochmal, Gudbrand, Giles, Moilón, Moltoli. Same old names because it's the same old knights, but same old achievements. I think if we can hit these guys anyway, we might then begin pushing into actual Kent itself again. They for some reason left a couple of 100 forces behind. Will we hit them now? Oh Lord Almighty! Somebody from the Carling Grandmont family was killed. Gudbrand has died under mysterious circumstances. Oh my god, that's a shock. That is a shock to the system. That wasn't expected. We'll bring the armies back for... Sorry. And then we're going to check some of our pop-ups there. What the hell happened there? Well, first of all, look at this for an upset. Here is our son-in-law's brother, the heir to Bourbon. And he has died in that last battle, which means that our son-in-law has now been elevated to the heir to the Duchy of Bourbon. So, I think we just witnessed a major battle with massive political ramifications. And Gudbrand, after all he has done for the kingdom, has died under mysterious circumstances. We never even got to try and push his claims for Orkney. They've now gone to his daughters. It is mysterious circumstances. If we view his kill list, my god. Head ripped off, 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 slain, head ripped off. Oh, that is a blow and a half. When I saw that pop up, Gudbrand has died under mysterious circumstances, I felt like I had my head ripped off. We're looking at a lot of bruised and battered faces around the place. I could give the marshal's position to Don. He's already backing our son for the title King of England, which means that our son is now in line to become the King of England. I think instead we will give it to Carlos to get that powerful vassal attribute. He's a 19 marshal, so we will assign him. And if we zoom out and look at the absolutely horrific scenario in terms of control and military numbers, I think we'll send him to Athlone. Kent is beginning to feel the pressure. They have offered us a white peace. We are going to decline it. We're going to decline it. And if we come up and look at that, the Battle of Gloucestershire, the last battle that Gudbrand took part in. 7 kills before somebody on the field must have killed him. We didn't actually do great in that battle. We didn't get great numbers in. But yeah, there Gudbrand was murdered in the midst of battle. And poor Rory Carling Grandmont was killed. And he was killed by Reeve Macus of Chichester. Did I see something about him? We're gonna have to try and avenge. We're gonna have to try and avenge Rory's death. The other great thing is that faction to overthrow us has actually fallen apart. I stopped swaying Don and I started swaying the guy who was running this region, or the other guy who was involved in this plot, but he seems to have left, so that's handy. I don't think we've befriended him that quickly. The fact that the befriend scheme is now gone leads me to think maybe so is he. I will give that a check in a second. I can't, for the life of me, find that vassal, so I'm going to take it he's dead. And we're going to move towards trying to befriend and cancel any threats from a few of our powerful vassals. Here is the Duke of Moray. Like I said, I had to fire him there recently because he's stone useless. He was our steward. He's gone to an 8. He's infirm. Is there any point in befriending you? Do you know what? I might just sway him. Because we don't want to end up befriending him and then he dies the next day. I've lifted the Siege of Surrey, and what we're going to do is we're going to try and hit that army in Essex again. Gudbrand has been replaced with King Carlos of Essex, who has more traits than I know what to do with. He's a brilliant commander in a number of different ways. We've gotten another lifestyle perk, which again tells you how long this war has been going on. And we have a victory. One of the guys that we've had in prison for a while, he has 1 kill to his name. I think this was the first of our knights to die in this battle. Back in 1040, so we've been in this war for 2 years. He is a 13 prowess. And he is an insular Christian. Yet he is fighting on the side of the Catholics. So we are going to recruit him. And we will negotiate his release. This guy ain't much good. But we could ransom him for a tenner. And I think that's exactly what we'll do. So we got our 10 ransom. This guy, Manfred, has joined us. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make him a knight. We've also just recruited Tig, who is a Cathar. I actually haven't had any Cathars around this region. We'll demand his conversion. We haven't had any Cathars around this region in a good while. Now, our big problem, like I said, look at this, we're down to a 9. And those 2 knights that we just hired have pushed a 7 and a 6 out of the list. So we're not doing great in terms of knights at the moment. Metz is after getting itself isolated and caught. That was a much bigger army a few seconds ago. I'm not too sure what's after happening to it. But what I've done is I've basically recruited all of the... What have we? We've 8 champions in there apparently, and 457 knights. So we're gonna try and hit those 6 men, and then hopefully skirt them over towards Kent. So I might need to now actually pull them out of there in case they get caught. Oh, are they going to get caught? Oh, maybe this wasn't a great idea. Maybe this wasn't a great idea. Liachnon has died from his wounds. It wasn't related to that battle. That wasn't a great idea. We did get caught a bit off guard there. I don't know how this guy could possibly have been killed in battle, because he has 3 prowess. Liachnon of the Isles has died. That's going to create a bit of instability in Scotland for a number of different reasons. I think he held, yeah, he did indeed. He held 2 duchies. So he was slain in battle. An allied combatant was captured. So that's Don of Bedford. This was not a great move on my behalf. So that is Liachnon again has died, and another Liachnon, our Chancellor, has died from his wounds. Poor Liachnon II, one of the first. I think he was the second to declare a cadet branch. Somebody that we considered for the High Kingship at one stage. We were supporting him and supporting branches of his family for the High Kingship. Liachnon II, the Foolish, has died. We've had some dramatic wars. I don't actually know if he's died in this battle, but I think he has. We've had some dramatic wars, especially those against the Swedish, but never have we lost so many important figures as we have in what I expected to be a minor battle for control of Kent. Liachnon's position on the council is going to be taken by Sorkver, who has become overly powerful. We will assign the position to him. Hopefully that will stop him from thinking about rebelling against us and breaking free with his massive chunk of land that we accidentally gave to him. And very briefly, while we're here, let's take a look at what's going on now up in the Isles. So this is probably one of the ways that this actually happened. There's I think he must have died in this battle as opposed to the actual battle that we're fighting in England. That was the other Liachnon. But the Isles and Galloway have now split. We do have a bit of cleaning up to do here, especially Gary still belongs to De Hybert, and I think the Inner Hebrides still belong to the Isle of Man, so we do have a lot of cleaning up to do up here. We're into our diplomacy perk. We've actually had it for a while now. We will go for defensive negotiations, see if we can get another alliance. It might be necessary. We're near to completing the Siege of Kent. Our knights are remaining steady. Here is Ulfus, Cochmal, Giles, and then we come down and we see a couple getting wiped out. Frederick would have been replaced. He would have been pushed out. Oh, he was very close to being pushed out. He was 2 days from retirement. Or maybe he was 2 nights from retirement. Moltholy, Mac Lued of Ulster So his father died only 6 years ago. His son died... Oh no, his brother died a good chunk of time ago. My god, there's so many. So many deaths. Deether. Poor old Deether. Morcu. Our brother-in-law. Did we manage to get anyone on their side? No. No, we didn't. We'll dismiss that. And we'll take a look at that silly, silly little battle that we accidentally marched ourselves into. There, looks like I was wrong. High Chieftain Liacnon of the Isles. He was killed in that. There's Bran, our nephew, who we were supporting for the High Kingship at one stage. Thaig, first day on the job. There's poor Don. Is the other guy that we hired there. Manfred. That was a bit of a disaster. Metz, the poor things, they've gotten themselves back up to, well, 231 troops, and they've come back to join us as we finish the Siege of Kent. Hopefully we will capture some people that might be of use to us. We did not, but we're up to 83% war score. We're going to see if we can march the army up, break that siege, and bring this lengthy hell of a war to an end. Our primary wife has become pregnant again. I can't complain about that, but it would be great if we could get either the Duchess of the place that I've forgotten the name of, Upper Lorraine, if we could get a child with her, or her daughter, who we're also married to. Moved by my tribulations. Dear God, we have had some tribulations. Duke Owen has offered me his counsel and aid on many occasions, hoping to alleviate the burden of my duties. However, Owen's attitudes, or his attentions, have incurred the ire of Chieftain Sorkver, who we recently made our diplomat. Owen cannot be trusted. This is merely a ploy to exploit you, my liege. Don't you be coming in here telling me things like that, and you planning a liberty war. Don't you be telling me things like that. I will only place my trust in those who deserve it. Can the three of us not find common ground? I will take heed of your warning, Sorkver. I will not. Then defend the honour of your High King. So what will that do? Possible outcomes. It's an intrigue challenge. Sorkver challenges Owen in a duel to the death. The Duke of Northumbria and the son of our first head ripper in chief. Sorkver refuses to be dragged into the fight. No, that's mad. Take heed of your warning. No, go away. Can the three of us not find common ground? Possible outcomes. Duke Owen gains 50, Sorkver 15. I like the look of this. 0% chance that we fail. And we become friends with Owen. I think we will go with this one. Speaking of needing knights, and speaking of knights who shouldn't be knights, our son, and if I am correct, the heir to the Kingdom of England has come of age. He has shown little understanding of the subject, but at least he knows which way to hold a sword, and might even be able to tell a footman from a champion. Oh God. Let's hope we bring this battle to an end before we start seeing our family being exterminated. We are losing a lot of troops. We managed to get there in the end. There's a 100% war score in the Liberty War, so that's great. We're going to see the guys coming back to us in a couple of minutes to help finish off this war. The East Francia. That's great. That's fantastic. So, yeah, they should be back to us now any minute. Same old, same old. Same old on all sides. There's the reeve that killed our son-in-law's brother. The child was not meant to be. My wife, High Queen Fian, assures me it is the way of life, but her hand lingers on her belly. She is no longer pregnant. we have an opportune moment to try to sway Earl Flann Sinna and convince him to vote for Urquhart. I don't think we really need to worry. Urquhart is actually pretty secure in the succession at the moment. It's a diplomacy challenge. So yeah, we'll present our most compelling argument and hope that we don't lose any stuff. We're sending a good chunk of forces actually, and Bourbon has gone over again, seeking revenge. To try and crush Kent's army. My Chancellor, Sorkfer, has worked hard to convince our neighbouring realms and vassals that the peace treaty I entered with Urquhart is flawed, illegitimate, and unfair to me. I am once again free to declare war on him as I please. Is this our... He's the heir to Ireland and England. He's imprisoned by Amlib Mac Liachnaun of Connacht. Well, that's worrying. We're not going to get ordered to this battle in time, I don't think. I'm not even too sure what side is what. Apparently there's been a defeat. Doesn't look like it. I'm not too sure what happened there. I think it forgot what side we were on. Oh boys, the East Franks are coming. That's great. Well done, guys. Well done. We've just a couple of days out from ending the last siege, and the East Franks are coming. That's great. That's brilliant. Thanks. Oh, the whole thing. For what, 6,000-7,000 troops? Yeah. Brilliant. So Duke Finn Sneachta has passed away, so we can no longer sway him. This is just... I don't even understand what's going on here now. Another interesting thing I've just seen is that Dorset and the Isle of Wight have changed colour, and you can just about see to the very bottom of the screen, so has part of France. Let's go and check on that in a couple of minutes. I'm sure it has something to do with all these pop-ups I'm getting about neighbouring wars. After... how long? 5 years! That's 4 years too long. We are 16,000 troops, and it took us 5 years. Do you remember when I was giving out that the Sami weren't able to conquer Sweden and they had like 21,000 troops? Well, I feel foolish. Enforce our demands to the vile High King Cuilén. I gave you an option. I asked for vassalization, you refused. I might even give you back some of your land if you're still around. So be it. What we can see is that Toulouse has split off from West Francia. It does provide us with an interesting opportunity to try and take those two regions that are in England. However, they have about 6,000 troops in alliances, so I think that would create more trouble than it's worth. We're going to have to instead regroup and consider what our next plan is. I have put the two armies to raiding, and I have sent them in to the tiny region here in Kent that still exists, that they've refused vassalization, and the other two remaining powers are refusing vassalization as well. So our bids to control this region continue. I'm not too sure, has all of Scotland come under Irish control? That's still part of Sweden. The two remaining elements up here have been conquered, and there seems to be a large war going on in Sweden at the moment, which we won't complain too much about. But we're going to have to plan our next line of attack. That war, that was a costly war in length of time. That took us far, far too long. I have made demands for a number of people to convert from Norse paganism to insular Christianity. I have given out, if I'm correct, to our son, who is going to inherit England, should we die. So that has gotten me back under the domain limit. I've usurped the earldom of Kent, or the Duchy of Kent. And I'm keeping that for myself. It's putting me 1 over the limit because I have Meath, I have Lothian, which I'd totally forgotten about, and I also have Kent now. I'm revoking a vassal from Ulster, who should be under me. We're not going to take de Hybert's vassal in Gary just yet, because I like to try where I can to compensate people. So we need to look at compensating de Hybert somehow. I've just spotted something. Before Leochnán II died, I revoked Connacht from Northumbria and gave it to him. He at that stage controlled all of Munster and all of Connacht. Connacht has now gone into Ossory. What's after going on here? I'm not happy. There's Eilgol, Leochnán's son, he was almost secure as High King. He would have been High King if Ruacán hadn't lived as long as he did. Then again, a lot of people would have been High King if Ruacán hadn't lived as long as he did. So we're going to have to try and... Basically, we're going to have to wait for him to die so we can get that county off of him and give it to Leinster. Poor old Lania. And there is Amlíb, who succeeded in Connacht following his father's death. He had somebody in prison. I have forgotten who he had in prison. He had Urquaid, who's going to succeed us as High King of Ireland and King of Scotland. I would like if he was in a position to succeed us as the Emperor, but I'm not too sure. We still need 11 counties. The maths works out in an interesting way. I've already planned what I'm going to do on the next episode. And that is... we're going to call a hunt. I hope that you will join me for it. Thank you very much for joining me on this one, and I will see you on the next one.